Please welcome, you're gonna love him, Bill Fahey. Get up here, Bill. Good afternoon, and thank you to Jeff and NAGLREP for having me and some of my colleagues here today. Our office focuses internally, so our employees and the initiatives and programs that we have internally, as well as focusing externally and on the customers that we serve. Our commitment to customers' help is to help America achieve affordable home ownership. So basically a lot of what we've been hearing about today and some of the issues and challenges we have around affordability, access to credit, and then also around supply that is affordable in different communities. We really work with our business lines to really try and understand what are the barriers to home ownership, and we bring a D&I lens to all of those efforts to try and break down some of those barriers. I'm happy to say this is our first time being here. We're very excited to be here, and I'm very proud to say that we're also first-time sponsors as well. We had the privilege earlier this year of hosting NAGLREP during Gay Pride Month for a roundtable discussions on initiatives and legislation promoting diversity and equality within the LGBT housing industry. Our missions are aligned as we work together to expand homeownership and inclusion for all Americans, including the LGBT community. When people hear OMWI, they sort of ask, you know, what is it that you do and what do you focus on? And that's what it really is about. It's about the internal pieces that we focus on and the external as well. I mentioned earlier that we changed the name and that we have regulations that we have to abide by, but what I'd like to point out is it didn't take that for Fannie Mae to actually focus on diversity and inclusion in the workplace and in the industry. We actually started our efforts 26 years ago. And we did that because we realized that we have a role in serving America's growing diverse communities, knowing that diversity and inclusion is not only the right thing to do, but it's the smart thing to do. We are committed to inclusion inside and outside of our walls. We see our longstanding commitment as a strong foundation to build on rather than accomplishments to rest on. And that was actually a conversation I was having before I came up here around some of the surveys that take place. And Sarah was mentioning that they change the survey and the requirements every year to sort of stay current. And that's one of the things that I constantly talk about at Fannie Mae and with my team is, yes, we've come a long way, but there's still a lot to do, and we can't rest on our laurels. We have to keep thinking about where are we and where are we going. We also recognize that we can't do this work alone, and by no means what I'm going to share with you today do I think is the silver bullet, because there is no silver bullet. It's really just what we've done at Fannie Mae and where we've had successes. And so it's important for us to have strategic partnerships and relationships with organizations like NAGLREP. You know, it takes all of us to have a difference, to make a difference, and to have an impact, and so we're very proud to have a relationship with organizations like NAGLREP. We also have created other partnerships with like-minded organizations, one of which is the American Diversity Council, or the AMDC, which was founded by Five Star. And they support a broad range of initiatives including supply chain diversity and challenges facing minority, LGBT, and women-owned businesses. We are committed through these active partnerships in serving in leadership roles with organizations where we find synergies. One of my employees that some of you may know, Charmaine Brown, who has been focusing on D&I pretty much her entire career and is very well known and has had a great impact from a D&I perspective, not only at Fannie Mae but our industry. She is co-chair of the AMDC, and earlier this year the AMDC participated in town hall talks in different areas. They were in New York and Florida, out west, all over the country. And these town halls talked about the challenges facing LGBT communities. And the interesting thing in talking to folks who had participated in those town halls is there really is a lack of awareness in certain communities around the issues and challenges that the LGBT community has as it relates to housing. And I was at a conference a couple of weeks ago, and I was sitting next to a gentleman from LA, and he really said something that sort of struck home with me. From me living in New York for 18 years and now living in DC and him living in LA, a comment that he made was, because we live in communities where we don't see these issues and challenges that others of us do face, we have to sort of take ourselves out of the bubble that we live in and really put ourselves out there to really understand what's going on and to keep continuing the efforts that we have going so that we can really make an impact. In my short time in this role, which I just went into this role in April of this year, prior to that, I was in HR for about 20 years, so you can kind of say I'm on the people side of the business. I'm really excited about the work that we're doing, and I've seen the enthusiasm and passion that Fannie Mae brings to housing issues, especially to the LGBT community, including those who serve our housing providers. In my role, I'm able to turn my personal passion for home ownership and inclusion into action. In OMWE, we manage, and hopefully I'll stop saying that because it's probably it's a funny acronym to say. But what my team does is we have 12 employee resource groups within our organization, and one of them is called Live Openly. And what Live Openly does is it seeks to advance our corporate initiative to value diversity by fostering the recognition and acceptance of LGBT homeowners, business partners, and other stakeholders as an integral part of the Fannie Mae community. So the nice thing with our employee resource groups is similar to sort of our strategy with all of our D&I initiatives. Not only does the ERG focus on our employee base, but they also have a commitment outward of the organization into the community. Since our 2017 rebrand, when we were previously known as the LGBT ERG, we have focused our efforts on our I Am an Ally initiative. And it's exciting to watch it come to life. Because as you know, and as I've said, and as others have said, we can't do this work alone. Our work is only good as our ability to tap others who don't have the same orientation, but who offer their solidarity. We launched an I Am an Ally video on the main stage during Capitol Pride Festival in Washington, D.C., which included our recruiting team talking to festival goers about Fannie Mae and our culture. Internally, we have a 10-step one-pager for our employees to reference on how to be supportive of our LGBT employees and the LGBT community. Jeff, if you could play the video, please.
An ally is someone who is passionate about equality.
Equality for everyone.
Equality for people who are lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, or intersex.
I just want to do my part to make sure that everyone feels safe and they can bring their whole selves to work.
When your people are diverse, you have diversity of thought.
Innovation.
Perspective. And that diversity helps us better serve our customers.
Fannie Mae has a long history of diversity and inclusion.
I am an ally.
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 Thank you. In addition to the Ally video, we have launched an LGBTQ resource center for our employees to leverage not only at home, not only at work, but at home, and as well as to try and establish a safe space group for employees who have personal scenarios that they're working through as an additional way to support them. We also give back. Live Openly has long volunteered with an organization called Friendship Place. It's a housing service provider for the LGBT community, homeless community in Washington, D.C. With so much good work and momentum, we aim to build and amplify. The harsh reality is that data around the LGBT experience in the workplace is still sobering. Something I'd like to share with you that I really was struck by during one of the conversations that we had at work. The Live Openly ERG hosted a conversation where we brought employees in the organization together to have a conversation around what does it mean to come out and sort of the issues and challenges related to that, as well as discussing things like being your authentic self and covering. And one of the panelists had said that he feared coming out at work because of potential physical harm that he might experience when people found out. And I was really blown away by it because I'm really proud to work at Fannie Mae. And the very first day I went to Fannie Mae, I came home and my husband said to me, "So how was it?" And I said, "Well, I got to be honest with you. I think Fannie Mae is probably one of the gayest places on earth." And you know, that was my experience, and I felt really good about it, but I was really taken aback by one of my colleagues who really was concerned that something could happen at work. So again, although we've done a lot of great work, there's still a lot that we need to do. According to the Diversity Executive magazine, although employers are more supportive than ever of LGBT community and their workers, there's still worry at the employee level about negative perceptions with being out in the office. Through the work with our allies, including the AMDC town halls and this conference, I am hopeful. Quite frankly, it's inspiring that there are many corporate voices and action behind us to move the equality agenda and work forward. I'd like to take a few minutes just to talk to you about what we do on the business side and how we sort of tackle some of the barriers that are there related to housing within this community and in other communities. You know, we all know, and we've heard earlier today, and I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with the statistics on how we demographically are changing as an as a nation. It's becoming much more diverse. Fewer of us are getting married, and more of us are living in multi-generational households. Income volatility is increasing across all income segments. More Americans are self-employed or working part-time or contract jobs, as opposed to full-time jobs, and very few are going into retirement with a traditional pension or, quite frankly, even a 401k. Fannie Mae is responding to these trends using research, product innovation, and enhanced underwriting tools to make the system less risky, less complex, faster, and more efficient. One of the products I'll just mention that we created is something called Home Ready, and it's a 3% down mortgage product. And the reason why I wanted to mention that to you is because a couple of weeks ago I got an email that this woman that we have business dealings with sent a note, and she never thought that her and her wife would ever be able to purchase a home because the only thing she was familiar with was the traditional 20% down 30-year mortgage. And through our resources that we have at Fannie Mae and through this product that we have, Home Ready, her and her wife were able to purchase a house, and she was so excited because, again, she thought that this was never going to happen. So that's just one of the examples of how we work and we come up with ways to reduce some of the barriers that are out there. We continue to work with a fuller range of potential home buyers, including those in the LGBT and underserved communities, to ensure that they have access to sustainable mortgage credit. We also give tools so that we help meet the needs of today's diverse home buyers, supporting consumers in making informed choices and taking advantage of the mortgage options available. I'd like to thank you again for the opportunity to be here and share with you some of what we do at Fannie Mae. And I'll leave you with kind of the underlying theme that I've said a couple of times, and I really, truly believe in that, you know, Fannie Mae isn't going to solve all the problems that we have when it comes to discrimination in housing, but I am truly hopeful that working together with all of you in the room and other organizations, that together we can really make things change and continue to make a difference. So again, thank you very much. I appreciate the time.